Land Rover is having trouble in the high-end SUV market, despite the fact that the company practically invented the SUV as an aspirational vehicle. As the SUV took over from the mid- and high-end minivan and the high-end sedan, Land Rover's reign in the world of premium SUVs came to an end, and hasn't been the same since. Sales have been so dismal that JLR, Jaguar Land Rover, a subsidiary of India's Tata Motors, seems to be, killing the Land Rover brand as we know it. Jaguar Land Rover seems to be doing a lot of the same brand splitting that Stellantis did when it separated Ram from all of Dodge's other brands, claiming at the time that the Rams were still Dodges at heart. JLR said in a spectacularly wishy-washy statement that, "We are not saying goodbye to the Land Rover name. Its spirit is, and will continue to be, an integral part of our DNA." No matter what marketing lingo JLR uses to describe the latest in the Land Rover rebrand, Land Rover has not been a strong contender in the SUV space for many years. Even with the not-so-new brand, Land Rover's product portfolio remains outdated. JLR sells hybrid variants of all of its Land Rover products, but not an EV. Whether JLR's management likes it or not, 1.9 road tanks are a thing of the past. Adding a couple of hybrid powertrains to a product range that was 15 years old isn't going to make much of a difference. In this video, I will explain the 5 biggest reasons why Land Rover went under. 5. Land Rover is way behind in EV manufacturing. Land Rover will introduce an electric model in 2024. As we head into the second decade of this century, the company appears to be changing its culture. While the company has made strides to become more eco-friendly, the brand is lagging behind many competitors. For example, the company has announced that it will launch an all-electric Land Rover in the fall of 2024. Pre-orders for the all-electric Range Rover will begin later this year. Of course, this is a first for Land Rover. Many of its competitors have zero-emission SUVs on the road today. Land Rover has made some progress toward a gas-free future in the last decade. They have plans to expand their electric fleet by 2023. What has long been a staple of pop culture for a variety of reasons is no longer a trend. The hybrid market is another market that Land Rover wants to enter. With hybrid models on the market and new PHEV technology being announced, we could be looking at a cultural shift. After all, the company will need it to survive in the next decade. One of the biggest problems with Land Rover is its outdated culture and management. This has resulted in slow sales and a tarnished reputation. Quality and design are the last things a car manufacturer needs. Land Rover needs to step up its game. In addition, the company has invested in new EV platforms for EVs. This could be a sign that a new theme is coming for the brand. The US market is the one that needs the most work. Land Rover has fallen on hard times in recent years. Let's hope it can bounce back. For Land Rover was in the right place at the right time. Before the crash, Land Rover was at its peak in the United States. As green cars became the new normal, Land Rover didn't change. SUVs had been around for decades, but their popularity really took off in the last years of the pre-crash boom. People wanted cars that made them feel powerful, and many were angry about fuel efficiency regulations being tightened. For a small but passionate segment of the car-buying public, bad gas mileage was almost a badge of honor. This small but passionate group of anti-efficiencies crusaders would later become today's coal rollers, who don't impress anyone but themselves. After years of cozying up with cars and trucks, it was time for an SUV. Land Rover was positioned to take advantage of the luxury SUV market, and take advantage of it, it did. While Land Rover didn't invent the term sporty consumption, the company was the world's preeminent off-roader for decades before the current boom in SUVs. For years, no fancy strip mall had more than a few matching Range Rovers parked in the lot. The ruggedness of the Range Rover allowed people to dream of muddying their feet on the way to work, although almost no one did. It was showy, but not ostentatious, and big enough for all the kids. In addition, the fact that Land Rovers are British and, as a result, European gives them that continental class. Their all-American road hog look also saved Land Rovers from being made fun of as unreliable and old-fashioned British cars. Land Rovers quickly established themselves as one of the best-selling luxury SUVs you'll see in front of shopping centers, with boutiques rather than discount stores. Three, Land Rover did not keep up with the competition. Land Rover hasn't been able to keep up with competitors such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, and Porsche, as luxury car brands have developed SUVs and Land Rover has fallen behind. One might have thought Land Rover would have a long-term presence among the upper-class family tank. Indeed, the wildly lucrative SUV market was practically given to Land Rover. However, every automaker in the industry knew the change was coming. Competitors such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Porsche have aggressively dominated the luxury SUV market. The many new electric car manufacturers, it seems like there's a new one added every week, have carved out space in the market for electric SUVs before Land Rover could even bother to launch an EV. Rivian R1S looks like a vehicle Land Rover could have. Whether it's performance, interior features, or just how good a car looks when you park it in front of your house, there's no question that Land Rover is outperformed in every measurable metric by new brands and automakers that once had little or no interest in luxury SUVs at all. It's fair to say that Land Rover may simply never have recovered from a succession of buyouts and sell-offs since the collapse of the British Leyland Empire. From BMW to Ford to the recent sale to Tata Motors, it's hard to build a cohesive product or vision if the management isn't able to stay in one place. Two, Land Rover's current lineup is a little too generic. Land Rover's current fleet has an uninteresting design. The SUVs are not as timeless or eye-catching as they were before the recession. Land Rover's current lineup is made up of 3 SUVs and nothing else. It's hard to tell the difference between the Range Rover, Defender, or Discovery unless you're driving them side by side. Except for the LED headlights, the current Land Rover looks like it was designed before the recession. Land Rover's SUVs aren't timeless and aren't interesting. Land Rover has what auto historians like to call a storied history, but you won't see it in their current lineup. Jeep, on the other hand, has a similar history that dates back to World War II, when it was known as Jeep Faces. But while Jeep looks like a Jeep, Land Rover looks like any other SUV. In light of all the luxury trucks that have been released in recent years, it's hard to believe that Land Rover never released a luxury truck. The luxury truck isn't a new concept. The high-fashion trucks are just the latest lucrative entry in a long line of utility vehicles that have been turned into fashion statements to show off in the driveway of a private school. Ford's F-150 Lightning has shown that buyers are willing to spend 6 figures on an electric truck, as long as it's got leather and a decent-sized screen. Theoretically, Land Rover could just take one of their SUVs and swap out the back seat for a truck bed, and, if they were brave enough, turn it all electric too. As with so many missed opportunities, one has to wonder if someone at Land Rover intends to bring this into the present decade. One, it'll be interesting to see how Land Rover embraces the electric future. It's no secret that Land Rover has missed a number of opportunities to innovate in the electric space. The current leadership has shown little inclination to expand design budgets or embrace innovation. Land Rover has the potential to re-emerge into the world of low and middle-income family haulers, and like Jeep, it has a military heritage that lends it a tough and patriotic vibe. Its current models are status symbols from a decade ago, but they're competent examples of old-school, high-tech luxury cars. While Land Rover has everything it needs to be another corporate juggernaut, getting there will require a dramatic expansion of the company's design budget. The company's refusal to produce a single all-electric car, whether out of stubbornness or sheer laziness, only makes its product line appear more outdated. While it's true that the future isn't looking great for Land Rover, the addition of a new EV in 2024 could provide some much-needed traction. If Land Rover can get its act together and get back on track, we could be looking at the rebirth of a once great American and global icon. It's been done before. Let's do it again.
Finally, on behalf of the Auto Hell team, I ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your one-click subscription is very important to us. Thanks for watching.